Since its inception, the I'm Lovin' It company has grown to include over 38,000 eateries, serving close to 68 million people daily in 118 different countries. That amounts to around 1% of the world's population who are eager to get their hands on a burger, some fries, or some chicken nuggets. Yes, we are talking about McDonald's, the world's favorite and probably your favorite. Ever wonder while sitting in a McDonald's dinner how no matter wherever you go, you'll find one McDonald's outlet nearby? Today's video will be about how McDonald's took control over the fast food empire. I know you might be feeling like having one right now, but hold up tight, we are going to tell you the insightful story of one of the world's best brands. It has effectively changed into the most well-liked family restaurant that appeals to both adults and children, and it has become the market leader in the fast-service restaurant segment. The history of McDonald's frequently starts with Ray Kroc, a native of Chicago and salesman of milkshake mixers, who had the foresight to realize the potential of the business strategy used by one of his clients' speedy service system. Richard James and Morris James McDonald, two brothers, created the speedy service system in 1948. By successfully adapting the drive-in model to meal delivery, they eventually created chances for franchising. In 1954, Ray Kroc joined them as a franchise agent after being inspired by what he witnessed. In 1955, he launched the first McDonald's franchise, and 6 years later, he acquired the McDonald brothers for the hefty sum of $2.7 million at the time. The rest is common entrepreneurial wisdom that characterizes legendary companies. It's not just McDonald's that uses this restaurant format. In fact, the category includes a number of other well-known franchises such as KFC, Taco Bell, Wendy's, and Burger King. With a brand worth almost $40 billion, McDonald's dominated as one of the most valued fast food restaurants in the world. In terms of overall revenue, restaurant count, and brand recognition, McDonald's consistently ranks among the top brands in the market area, with Starbucks, KFC, Domino's, and Subway. Consumer behavior typically changes in very predictable ways during recessions. Of course, the most unneeded firms are the ones that suffer the most. Manufacturing, leisure, and hospitality, as well as travel and tourism. Other businesses, including fast food chains, really stand to gain. Not sure about the stomach, but bank accounts tend to favor lower costs, which is how competitors like Burger King and Wendy's manage to outperform expectations during recessions. For instance, the Subway added roughly 6,000 new locations between 2008 and 2010, while other businesses shuttered or reduced their workforces. KFC expanded by about 300 within the same time frame. However, one business stands out as the undisputed champion of the 2008 fast food industry, McDonald's. Even better than before the recession, it opened 600 new locations that year, continuing its 55-month streak of same-store sales growth, and achieved an astounding 29% return on equity. Consumers were simply eating less expensive meals at the time. McDonald's is primarily a real estate business. One figure in particular could catch your eye when looking at its 2019 balance sheet. $39 billion. Before reporting, that's the total value of all its assets. Before reporting depreciation, that is the overall property and equipment's current value. In terms of overall assets, that would officially place it as the 6th largest real estate owner in the world. Through franchising, companies like Burger King and Subway were able to expand so quickly and enter so many nations. In essence, someone leases the McDonald's name and brand to 85% of its restaurants in return for a substantial sum. What distinguishes the business from other similar fast food Goliaths is that McDonald's derives the majority of its franchise revenue not from selling hamburgers, but from renting out its restaurants. To be accurate, rent accounted for $7.5 billion, or 64% of the $11.6 billion in franchise fees in 2019. McDonald's has decades of expertise in purchasing and selling real estate, so it is aware of the specific elements that make a place profitable. Unlike its competitors like Subway, who faced a big recession and had to close down plenty of stores, McDonald's keeps getting bigger. In accordance with the company's 10K, 1,500 new stores were opened globally in 2021, and free cash flow totaled $7.1 billion, a 46% increase over 2020. McDonald's generates revenue through leasing McDonald's-owned facilities to franchisees who use the company's goods. This frequently carries a high markup. At the end of 2021, 37,295 McDonald's outlets were franchised, according to the 2021 10K. This strategy has the benefit of having a much more consistent and predictable revenue source: rent and royalty money received from franchisees. On the other hand, the operating costs are noticeably lower, making the road to profitability easier. Because it has ownership over the land and long-term leases, McDonald's may use its market position to its advantage when negotiating transactions. Similar to a subscription, the franchisee in this case pays a certain sum each month as the subscriber. Industry analysts estimate that McDonald's retains roughly 82% of the revenue from franchisees, compared to just about 16% from its company-operated stores. These figures are further reduced by the running expenses for these sites. McDonald's is known for having tough requirements for its franchisees, including net worth and liquidity. Franchisees are also in charge of making supply orders, paying their rent or mortgage, and paying salaries. Therefore, why open a franchise? The allure is that thanks to strong margins, McDonald's offers its franchisees a virtually assured profit. The turnover rate in the restaurant business is notorious. One key cause of this is that the margins can be as tiny as a slice of processed American cheese, as any restaurateur will tell you. Nevertheless, McDonald's operating margins are double quarter pounder thick, nearly 40%. McDonald's employs a strategy in which it purchases land near the crossroads of two busy roads, typically, and purchases space in the area with the most parking. The ideal building space is about 48,000 square feet, or about 40,000 square feet. Also, there ought to be traffic lights or a roundabout at the intersection. The property is then purchased using long-term fixed interest rates. It has access to the best bargains thanks to its vast current real estate assets. Then, when a person applies to run their own McDonald's restaurant, they sign a comprehensive franchise agreement with the firm that specifies almost every aspect of how the business will run, from how the burgers are prepared to the operating hours. The franchise, which is the local owner, typically invests between $1 and $2 million up front for a single store, which includes a cash down payment, a one-time $45,000 franchise fee, and a percentage royalty of monthly sales. These typically 20-year contracts also include the peculiar but important requirement that the restaurants be situated at that particular address, which McDonald's, the firm, recently acquired. In other words, McDonald's has a tenant right away who will always pay higher rent than the going rate. You may describe good location reconnaissance as a valued service or a cunning business strategy, depending on the value you place on it. The benefit of this strategy is that even though absolute figures are extremely high, the odds of success are rather high for the fees, initial setup expenditures, and even annual revenues. Everyone wins. Despite being one of the most demanding franchises, McDonald's remains one of the best possibilities for investors. To become a franchisee, candidates must fulfill rigorous requirements, but if accepted, they have limited control over their own enterprises. The firm claims that after giving franchisees a long-term lease for the property, McDonald's leaves all equipment, seating, decor, and signs up to the owner. Franchisees are also accountable for gradually reinvesting funds into their companies to upgrade and make improvements. For those of you who are unaware, McDonald's franchisees receive training at a facility named Hamburger University, which is the corporation's internal program for providing business owners with all the skills and information they require. McDonald's would benefit much more from owning their own property than from renting it. The American tax system, which provides significant tax benefits for depreciation even though the same property may increase in value over time, is the cause of this. The stability of real estate values over the long term is the biggest benefit. McDonald's was one of just 2 stocks in the Dow Jones Industrial Average to see its value rise in 2008, along with Walmart. McDonald's is a member of the Dividend Aristocrats, companies whose dividends have increased every year for 25 years running. McDonald's long-term objective is to franchise about 95% of its sites. The brand will keep moving forward with this long-term objective, notably by franchising outlets to conventional licensees. The company's attempts to effectively drive development as a better McDonald's through the Velocity Growth Plan were continued, and as a result, many organizational changes to its worldwide business structure were introduced. These changes were made in response to the business model's ongoing evolution. McDonald's customer-centric velocity growth plan, initially unveiled in 2017, focuses on the three main drivers of the company: food, value, and customer experience. McDonald's has been able to maintain a significant lead over its primary rivals in the fast food industry, including Burger King, Wendy's, and KFC. But its biggest obstacle may well be a consumer who demands healthier, organic menu options along with fast food quickness. Another restaurant model has been trying to get customers' attention, or more precisely, palates, for the past few years. This model offers dinners freshly cooked, higher quality food in a relaxed setting with effective counter service. Known as fast casual eateries, these establishments are challenging the burger leader today. But the McDonald's powerful corporation took notice of people having higher standards and complaining about their health. In 2018, it made the announcement that all artificial preservatives, colors, and other substances would be eliminated from 7 of its burger options. Plus, if you've ever been to Europe lately, you would also notice that McDonald's restaurants there turned into a green and yellow look with wooden components in order to appear even more environmental friendly. You can even enjoy a salad bar at some places, a brilliant marketing trick. For now, people still can't get over those French fries and would continue eating at McDonald's as long as McDonald's knows how to turn things in its favor. So do let us know which topic we should cover next. If you enjoy the content, give us a like, and thank you guys so much for subscribing to our channel. I'll see you guys in the next one.